Indeed, greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you so much for joining me again on another live stream, another video, another moment, another experience of sharing with one another our immediate experiences. Before we get started, I do want to say something worth saying. Okay, this is the one. I ask only that I be transformed into the perfect field of awareness through which love flows without obstruction. I ask only that I be transformed into the perfect field of awareness through which love flows without obstruction. There's so much to unpack in such a short sentence. The next thing worth saying is the only obstruction to love is fear. And fear, as we know, is the faith in evil. If you're so scared of something that it completely debilitates your ability to do something about it, you have more faith in the possibility of evil than the possibility of love. And that is what drives your fear. And that fear obstructs the love that can flow through you. I ask only that I be transformed into the perfect field of awareness through which love flows without obstruction. The crazy part about it is the fact that you already are that, ceaselessly. Your title is Persient, as always. Hey, Cable, of course, dude. Of course, unfortunately, I know not everybody will stay, and that's completely okay. But if they were to read the title, maybe just for a second, maybe the title can give them something to think about. Today's title is The Bee Needs the Hive to Survive. And I wanted to add there as well, but it was kind of in rhyme with day 255. The bee needs the hive to survive. But in the same breath, the hive needs the bee to survive. If every single bee suddenly decided, oh well, I'm not worthy of life. I'm this, I'm that. I'm just one small bee in this big hive. Look at how many other bees there are. How can I possibly be important? But damn it, you are important. Because if every single bee decided to, just cease being, I'm sorry, that was a horrible pun, but yeah, then the beehive would cease to be as well. Thank you for the love, Cable. As is your being. Thank you so much, my beloved friend. It's so nice to have you here, as it is you, infamous one. Thank you for the hugs you're giving me. Vigorous for the wholesome. I appreciate your love, friends. Thank you for joining me. How are you doing? Cable, how are you doing? Infamous, how are you doing? Vigorous, do tell me how you're doing. How's life been? Have you learned anything? In related news, a bee stung me on top of my head the other day on a hike. Right up top. So, the initial response, the fact that you're here, that a niner, I'm happy, just for you. Secondly, the fact that you survived said bee sting, so you're obviously not deadly allergic. You stonks, celebrate that as well. And then the third thing that I'm thinking now, maybe this bee sting, if it's directly on top of your head, was supposed to make you so, and I'm going to say this again with a pun almost at heart, painfully aware of your crown chakra. Yep, right up top. So you were walking with this complete awareness of this top area of your head. I don't know if at any point you were like, okay, instead of just being aware of the pain, I'm going to be aware of that part of my head as a means, for energy to flow back and forth. And as I'm moving through this hiking environment, experiencing this experience, okay, let's talk about it in this way. There is Nia. Kiki was running through the mud today, and then she jumped on my lap and got me full of mud as well. I washed myself with my water bottle. Okay, anyway, there was this Netflix, I don't know if it's a documentary, but it's called Abstract or something like that, the history of art or something like that. And the first episode, they follow this one artist's creations, and one of the creations he made is basically artificial rainbows, where he shines light at a certain angle through falling droplets, and then you have to stand at the other side of that, falling droplets to actually perceive this rainbow. And the trippy thing that he said is, without you being present in that room to witness this rainbow, there is no rainbow. Technically, because your view of this rainbow is completely subject to where you're standing in the room, what angle you're looking at this rainbow from, and it's going to change depending on where you stand in between all of it. So that work of art does not exist without you being there to perceive it. And in the same way, if we go on a hike, all of that beauty is still there. It's still always right there. But for you to go on a hike, you're taking your physical beingness, going out into that environment, and then experiencing it in the same way as it would be to experience a piece of art. And if we're all connected to this whole, the whole wants you to experience this art, and you can imagine yourself as connected to this whole, through this channel that goes through your being. You can think of it as a torus, right? Like there is this, it goes in you, then there's this small little line, and then it goes out again, and then it can flow into you, into the earth, into the whole. And by witnessing this nature, this art, you're basically giving this gorgeous, this beauty, this just awe-inspiring sight to the rest of the whole. At least that's the way I think about it. Thank you, that and Niner, for inspiring me to say these things, friend. I really appreciate you co-creating with me today. Vegan 420, I see you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. In hike-related news, I'm going on a hike on the 21st in the mountains. I work so hard for crown chakra awareness, and this dude gets stung by a bee. Perfect. Right? Because, and the thing is as well, Cable, like imagine you as, a practicing, I want to say yogi, because that's the word that has been, described as someone that, meditates and stuff. So let's say you, Cable, you've been this practicing yogi for X amount of time, and you spend this time trying to cultivate this, crown chakra awareness, this awareness that you are a part of the whole. And then that a Niner comes along, sees you like trying to gain this awareness, and it's like, this dude is, full of it or whatever. He keeps walking down the street, gets stung by a bee on his crown chakra, and then suddenly, boom, he instantly realizes that connection. Right, like that. So is his realization of that crown chakra more or less valuable than the yogi's practice realization of that potential? And I know my answer. I feel it's perfectly neutral, and I think you might be saying the same thing, Cable. It is funny though. It's kind of like, how dare you get stung by a bee, that a Niner? Taking the easy way. What is my intention? My intention will be art. Yeah. The art of this moment, the art of this world, the art of this life, the art of this co-creation with you, friends. That was a joke. Chakra awareness requires the opposite of work. Awareness, and everyone has their own path. Be as it in, as it may. Yeah. You know, Cable. You know perfectly, my friend. Okay, I'm gonna have to put this in here for now, as I start crushing the marijuanas. We're smoking on some orange sherbet today. Thank you for the power you're giving me, Age Natural. It's nice to have you here again, my friend. How are you doing? Vegan, so nice to see you. Hikes are awesome. Yes, Melt. Totally agree. Can't wait for the mountains to eat me up again. I'm looking forward to hear from you as well. Okay, well, it sounds amazing. Halate. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing? Stung me right through my baseball cap and into my crown chakra. You too, Cable. I missed the poetry show. Hopefully it comes back. I'm sure it will. I believe Cable is in the same way that I am with stuff like that. The same reason I've not been dancing is because I've not been compelled, or I've not had the right energy to do that authentically. So I haven't. And I believe Cable is in the same way. If he's going to have to force himself to create in that way, to share in that way, it's not going to be something that's authentic. So when the power comes to him that he knows he's supposed to share, then it will be shared. There is no comparison of chakras, is the answer. We felt at the same time. Hey, we have Candace here as well. Thank you for joining us, my friend. How are you feeling, Candace? How are the kids doing? How was your significant other? We had a great get together today, vegan. I thought about you. That's beautiful. Hello, hello. Aren't people destroying everything? Is not the answer less mass breeding, with a few enlightened and well educated instead? Mark Perfect, it's an interesting point you're bringing, my friend, because the problem is that we won't be able to reach the state of being few and enlightened and well educated if we haven't gone through the overeducated mass population stage as well. And it isn't going to be something that we have to, I think, necessarily physically correct, as in make less people. I just think as our civilization keeps evolving, and as our technological improvements, extend our lifetimes, we're going to have less and less children. And as a result of that, what you're suggesting is going to happen naturally. Hopefully, before we get there, before we, get to the point that we have the technology to sustain a civilization that's well educated and enlightened, if you will, whatever that's supposed to mean, then we will also have it so that there is less suffering, total in the world. So not only do we have those enlightened, educated states, but we will also have figured out all of the bullshit that comes along with just being human beings. It's gonna take some time though. It's not something we can just be like, yep, this is the answer, that's the way you do it. Let's start culling all of the people that are less intelligent, less enlightened. No, very much not. That is not something that's going to be effective. All we can do is push forward, slowly but surely. Right now, we're in I think we were, for the last 100 years, in the state of lower chakric vibrations, if you will, to use your word, less enlightenment, I guess. And as a result of that, we've been... What's the word I'm looking for exactly? Abusing nature, that's the word. We've been abusing nature. And that abuse came from a place of ignorance, and that ignorance led to the decisions we made. And right now, we're in this difficult stage of our existence where our ignorance is no longer justifiable, because we have enough information, be it through the internet, be it through the sciences, showing us the effects of our actions on a global scale. Like, we no longer get to claim, oh, I didn't know, all of this stuff that I've been doing and made billions of dollars on, I didn't know it was gonna do all of this bad shit. But now you know, right? Yeah, we do know now. But why aren't you stopping? And why aren't you paying to have some of the shit fixed? It's a weird time of existence we find ourselves in, dude. But yeah, I get you, Mark. How are you doing, friend? How are you feeling? Thank you, Mariah, for joining us as well. Good morning, friends. Good day, Mel. Hey, my friend. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing? How are the kids? How are you feeling, my friend? I've been thinking about you a lot as well. Sending only good vibes. I'm eagerly and patiently waiting for my next chance. Get together. So, vegan, I'm guessing you also live in India then? If I'm not mistaken. I'm feeling great and the girls are having a great day also. Thank you for asking. Thank you, Candace, for joining us and for telling me, my friend. Like, I hope it goes without me saying that I want to know these things. Like always, friends, please feel free to tell me how you're doing. I would love to know. Even if you're doing bad, especially if you're doing bad, then I can try and send you some good vibes. Try a little bit harder, if you will. Fuck, Melt, you literally spoke my soul into being. Inauthentic creation, that's it. Thank you, Melt, for being no one but you. That's too beyond what you know. Because there is no you. I love you too, Cable. I know, dude. I don't know, but I know that I don't know. And that is knowing enough for me right now. I love you, dude. It's also something that I do know. Thank you for joining me here, dude. it's been it's been intense in the world. It's been more difficult than ever to bring or muster those types of energies, and it can be very difficult. Don't feel pressured. I understand, my dude. You're gonna get through this as well. Our intention is art. So fitting that Candace joins us today. Thank you, my friend, again for being here with us. I mean, all of us are artistic people. Oh, we have Talia as well. Oh, I'm so happy to see you, Talia. How are you doing, my friend? I can't stay here today again, sadly, but I love you all and I hope you have a great day. It's completely okay, Talia. It was nice to see you, even for a second. You're blessed, so I don't doubt one bit the poetry in the universe will find you. I agree completely. I have 4 little me's walking around, coloring everything. I don't have a problem with that. No, that just sounds like a blessing to me. But yeah, Mel, you made me cry. Cry, my friend. You cry. You cry, Cable. Like, that is a crying from a place of understanding and being understood as well, dude. It's not a cry you get to have a lot. I'm so happy, my friend, that you're here with us, that you can be authentic here with us, that you're willing to share something like that with us, dude. Man, I wish I could just have give you a pat on the shoulder, not a you're gonna be okay, not a stop crying. Just I'm here, my dude. Love you, dude. We have Champ 13. I can't figure out where the thought begins and ends. I realized that 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 I realized. Yeah, the thought doesn't begin and doesn't stop. It arises from your environment, usually, be it your inner environment or your external environment. Thought can be seen as a function of your brain, I think, as well. Can I say that? Oh, there's a part of me that doesn't want to say that. It's like, nope, can't say that. You don't know that. You don't know the thought arises from the brain. You see, the only reason I think it can, or I think it does, is because of the likelihood for things in your external world to influence your thoughts. And I'm saying external world for a reason as well. There are thoughts, like, actually, and like the Buddhist understanding of it as well, the most pure form of consciousness is thoughtless as well. So, what do you think? Okay, let's finish this up. Dump, 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 dump. The artistic joint turned out quite satisfactory. In the same place, deep within and beyond us. So yeah, there we go. We were created from a thought, and we think thoughts that create. And we have, besides that, eventually have thoughts. Candace coming in with the... Ooh, it's never ending and I love it. Oh yes, it is. Mark Perfect with another... There is a documentary showing how during COVID lockdown, nature immediately started restoring itself without our interference. A wake-up call. You're very right, Mark. Like, you're very, very right about that. Especially with the down-regulation of industry. Like, you could literally see the global pollution clearing up over China. And now, if you go and look again, it's, completely ramped up again. It is very unfortunate to kind of look at the state of our world in that way and know that there are these ways to fix things. But these ways to fix things, again, and in this way you're right as well, is to consume less. And having more kids is not indicative of less consumption, unfortunately. And then there is the added, I'm gonna say bonus, but it's not really a bonus, the added Feature. There we go. Yeah, it's a feature. It's not a bug, it's a feature. The other feature that more and more kids are being born into a world that literally, constantly promotes consumerism. It's like, oh wait, welcome to world. In this world, you want happy. Our thing, this thing, gives you happy. Buy thing from us. You'll have happy. And then you buy thing and you're like, oh yes, I have thing. I'm happy for having thing. And then the thing doesn't give more happy than that. And then you're like, damn it, I guess I have to keep buying thing. Keep getting them happies. No. No, 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 no. Again, it's this almost guilt-oriented world we get born into. Like we have to earn our happiness in some way as well. Damn it. Do we have to earn our happiness? Or is our happiness something that was given to us and then we find ways to create new goalposts for that happiness? We gamify our own happiness. Like we can all agree that society as we live in it right now has definitely gamified happiness. It's like this joke almost. What you have to do to stay happy. I'm sorry, this is getting a little bit much. I'm enjoying one of the Shulgin creations today. Much love to all of you. Have a great one. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm just imagining what experience you're gonna have. Like, I've also experienced some of Shulgin's creations. I hope you have an amazing one, my friend. No, but you're not the first to suspect that I have. Oh, no problem at all, vegan. I was just curious about Cable's, like, specific comment as well. We have the gob himself. Yo, Meld, I've made it to a mouth on my marijuana. To a month on my marijuana break. Goodness, gob. A tip in my hat for you, friend. Today is the 12th of September, so I have 18 days before I'm going for a month as well, dude. How's it been? How's the month been treating you? How are you feeling, after the month's break? Are you going to start smoking again soon? Are you looking forward to smoking again? Rapid fire questions, dude. Hey, we have Nate here as well. Thank you for joining us, my beautiful friend. Good morning, Hive. Tip of the hat to you. We have Matthias. He says, what's up, Mel? It's been a while, friends. It's been so long, Matthias. How are you doing? How are you doing? How's life been treating you? It's been so long, man. It's nice to see you again. Mel checking with the universe before saying it's like, it's like, universe, are you sure about this? It's like, nah, dude. That's just fucking stupid. Yeah, yeah. Okay, you're right. Okay. To art, my friend. What would art taste like? I guess art would very much have different flavors. That's kind of the point, right? But in that way, we do have taste for art. And our individual tastes for art differ. Why? Is it something to do with our biases? How we grew up? Is it an egoic thing? Is it a neurological thing that almost gets stimulated as soon as you see something? And depending on that neurological stimulation, there is more appreciation or less appreciation for something. I think maybe that's the one. But as a result of that, because of our differing biologies and our differing persons, we get stimulated by different things. And different things as a result of that is more beautiful or less beautiful to us. Maybe that's what's supposed to keep it interesting. I've made and sold my first NFT. I have another created and I'm glad I caught on. I'm also so happy to hear that, actually, Viking Queen. Congratulations on sending your first NFT. Like, I recently heard that the gas prices on NFTs are absolutely ridiculous. Like, people are paying like between $120 and $300 just for gas prices. I'm like, oh hell no. Oh goodness. But I'm so happy to hear that you sold one, my friend. No, you don't have to do that. I was curious about what you ask for an NFT. Actually, for our friends who are interested, be it on the YouTube, be it 10,000 years into the future, be it right now in this Reddit, Viking. Why can't I remember your Viking Queen? There we go. Viking Queen spelled with two threes. U slash Viking Queen slash two threes. You can reach out to Candace and you can try and get one of her like works of art. It's mind-boggling. So there we go. Stage is open to you, my friend, if you'd be willing to, if you want to. Other than the brain, fairly certain no other body parts are thinking. Oh, I don't agree with that either, actually, Mark, because we have clear indications that our hearts think as well. The heart and the brain are the only two organs that can both send and receive information. And it wouldn't be able to send information if it doesn't have some capacity to process. And we do know that our hearts have neuronal cells as well. Our hearts think, my friend. It's trippy, but it is so. We all are doing very well. Thanks for asking, Meld. You two have been on my mind frequently. Your words have indeed helped in my personal time of healing. And yours helped me as well, my friend, to make me aware of these things, I don't even know if that's the way to say it, but it keeps me tender, almost. Yeah, I think that's the way to say it. I love you, my friend. I hope you know that. Yep, holidays and birthdays are rites of passage into mass consumerism and materialism. That's a very good point. Oh, goodness. I've never thought about it that way. Man, Mark, perfect. Thank you for adding an extra little puzzle piece to my understanding. I don't like it though. I understand exactly what you said are saying, but I don't like that I understand it. So what Mark is saying is that growing up, we celebrate the holidays. We have these Christmases or Easters or whatever, and then during these holidays, we get rewarded with physical material. We age. We literally go once around the sun, and we're like, yeah, what a fucking vibe. Let's celebrate you. And the celebration of you isn't so much, an actual celebration of you. Sometimes in most societies, and like some people obviously do that, but it's more here, have thing. And then from a very young age, you start to associate, oh, the celebration of myself, what is arguably the most important day of my life, or recurring day of my life, in a way that I can expect some sort of celebration of myself. I can instead of feeling like a victim, feeling like I don't belong, feeling like I'm worthless, this one day I'm allowed to feel like maybe I do belong. Maybe I could expect people to love me. Maybe I whatever, right? And then on that day you get indoctrinated as well that, oh, you're getting something material, you're getting something that you can consume. Celebrate you. Wow, buy things. Oh, you celebrate, buy things. That's how it works. And then we try and recreate that feeling, that specialness, that belief that we are allowed to experience love, experience understanding amongst one another, and we keep consuming, we keep buying things. Art and you see, the thing is, art also has consumerism built into it on some sort of level, fundamental level, be it entertainment as a worthy means of consumption as well. Entertainment, though, as a means of consumption, has less environmental impact in some ways, right? Like buying a piece of plastic, be it a toy or whatever, is going to be more environmentally taxing than watching a video, for example. This is just me trying to speculate or trying to fit it into some sort of narrow spectrum of how you're supposed to identify these things. Yes. My dad knows there's so much dust being created. Don't say anything. Art and compassion. I just had to wait for the right message. Throw away consumerism instead of repairing is tipping the scales of climate change for the worse. Oh, also a very good point. Right to repair, fortunately, is starting to come back. Like, people are actually being serious about that, and it makes me happy. Life's been okay, not the best, but we'll get through it. We do get through it. Matthias, you're so welcome here, my friend. Like, having each other to talk about, just to, even if it's the slightest push, you don't have to stay here for an hour. If you just pop in, be like, hey fam, remember I love you, and then we'll be like, hey, we love you as well, and then you can just go, you can take that, go into the world, right? How many people get to have that ever sometimes in their lives? We get to have it every day. I love you, dude. Thank you for joining us. I'm proud of you. Me too. My appetite is much, much lower, though. Is it a good thing? Is it a good thing? Because I don't feel that good if I can't eat. I went through a bout of not being able to eat more than 1,000 calories a day for like a month or something, and it was pretty brutal. And I felt a lot from that as well, so I wouldn't change it. And I'm very happy to be able to eat again now. But now I think I'm gaining weight again, which might be a good thing. What do you feel, Gob? All seeing upvote. Thank you, Apollo. I appreciate that. Melting my shizzy with you. Thank you for melting with me. I appreciate you. Cheers. Good day to you from Malaysia. Good day to you as well. Unsecured skin. Man, that's a disturbing username. Unsecured skin? Okay, I have a way to make it better for myself. I cartoonify it, and then I imagine one of those videos of a cartoon character being startled and want to run away, and then because he had unsecured skin, there's just this, fully animated skin. And no, I'm sorry. It's still horrible. I'm sorry. Thank you for joining us, though, friend. I switched to Poly for now instead of directly to Ethereum. Yeah, Ethereum is very pricey right now as well. Thank you, Estian. Getting closer to buying our own patch of land and going full farm mode. My art is going for something good. Absolutely. And I look forward to being able to support you more as well, Candace. I look forward to being able to buy some of your pieces. I look forward to being able to commission you, actually. I have a bunch of ideas. I just don't have the capital to act on them just yet. I'm not seeing all the comments, just mine. Maybe try like closing out of the app and coming back. You might miss a few sentences. I'll try to stay quiet. I hope to see you again soon, my friend. Arguably, thought is beyond computation in the sense that it requires various results of computation to be taken into account together, even holistically, perhaps. So, again, that stimulates my thinking of like AI and the potential to be able to create like thought in a machine. Because technically, in the same way that we get thought stimulated by the amount of senses we have, and then these technical external computations, if you will, right? You can think of the tree's interaction with the wind as an external computation. Like, the wind acts of a certain force, and then as a result of where the leaves are, where the branches are, it interacts, it has wind resistance, that wind resistance moves these branches. So you're seeing what could be like described as well as a mathematical interaction, a computation externally from you. And then you witnessing this, you're seeing these little shaking branches and hearing the wind and the leaves rustle. And all of these things can be calculated as well. You're experiencing this thought. You're like, the wind sounds nice, or I hope it doesn't rain, or whatever like thoughts you have as a result of this external stimulation. But in this example, for this thought about this tree, and the reason I keep like alluding to the fact that these things are mathematically capable of being expressed, is that you would still technically be able to incorporate all of these things into an AI system. Technically, you would be able to add different senses as well. You could add different lenses, infrared lenses, geomagnetic lenses. You could add different layers of sensors, and as a result of that, this computational device would technically be able to have even more complex thoughts because it has more potential external computations happening, which it would be able to observe if it has the right sensors to. It's pretty crazy. So arguably, while many organs have computational neurological modules, they are not thinking. Okay. I'm happy that you're mentioning that as well, vegan, because are you sure though? I mean, maybe not what we consider traditional thinking, that it has a linear way of communicating and that it has a voice even, because we can think about things without vocalizing sometimes. And there is like feelings. Like you could actually say feelings could be the thinking of the body. How about that? Because sometimes you find yourself feeling in an environment that you're not safe, that there is something awry, that there is something amiss. And it can be your physical being thinking something is not right in your environment, right? What do you think about that, DJ? I'm curious. Mm. Jovan, hey, looky there. All my favorite melters in one place. Love you. Love you, Jovan. Thank you for joining us again. How are you doing? Yeah, I can see my comments now. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you for the love, Kathy. Feeling the love, Mal. We love you, dude. Thank you for joining us. Love and hugs. Be back in a week. Till the sweetest things. Thank you so much, Kathy. I hope you have an amazing week wherever you're going, my friend. I live in South Africa, Blitzkrieg. Enjoyable conversation. I wish more people would think one step deeper instead of the surface. Hopefully you can influence that. Have a great day. Thank you, Mark Perfect. We're actively influencing that, my friend. You choosing to try and communicate on a little bit of a deeper level is going to potentially encourage the next person to, and then the next conversation they might have that same intention, and then that way we slowly but surely change the world, friend. Go out and do the same. He is in South Africa. Yes, I am. There are still guys, but my comments are still here, guys. My comments are wacky. We still see you, Infamous One. I'm sorry, my friend, that the Reddit can be spicy sometimes. Same, it's hit and miss. A Qualia is the real challenges that requires reflection and projection, social interactions, which pretty much determine what thinking is. Okay, again, because now we can still go back to the example I made about the feeling nature of your body when you're in an unsafe environment. Still, technically, it could be seen as a social interaction, right? I mean, I'm suggesting. Like, I'm not saying that's the way it is, but I feel it has more truth in the way that I think about it than it has as a falsehood. I got a very strange question. Can dying take away my pain? Oh, natural. That is a very loaded question. First and foremost, I want to tell you that it's not your time to die. If your question comes from a place of, is causing myself to die going to take the pain away that I'm experiencing right now? Don't. Because if anything, you're just going to cut your potential lesson that you're learning right now from the pain you're experiencing short. So imagine if you were playing a game, I mean, this is not exactly how it is, but you're playing a game and you're going through a very difficult part in the game. And instead of continuing through the difficult part, you just kind of be like, nah, I'm just gonna quit out the game, or do something else for a while. If you come back to the game, and if the game is something you have to complete, and you haven't finished that part that you're going through, you're still gonna have to go through it. So if the pain you're going through right now is pain worthy of something that can teach you something, then going through it is the only way, my friend. Keep moving, keep going, keep living. I look forward to seeing you again, oh natural. Thank you for asking your question, for reaching out nonetheless. I saw them and I had to take a double take. look and heard angels singing and godly trumpets playing. Ooh, you're missing me now, Viking Queen. Candace, like maybe one of your comments didn't come through before it. How does it require social interaction? You mean as opposed to explaining it within a scheme of private language? I think, just social interaction as in there can be thought in a way that can be used to articulate something in a social interaction, right? Like even if you're articulating something to yourself, you can see it as a subject explaining something or having something explained to it by a teacher or a conversational partner. And that's sometimes what we do in our own heads, right? Again, being the observer of watching these two talk to one another. And those two talking to one another is what creates the fundamental duality understanding of our reality. Cheers to that, to compassion and art, my friends. Who it would transfer the pain to anyone that cares about you. Very good point as well, Mark. Like, I wasn't even thinking about the pain that it's going to cause other people because I feel it's going to cause himself or herself more pain than anything. Imagine having to go through all of the same hurts and tribulations that you've been through before, only to reach the same hard to open door. Like, you have to eventually go through it. It's the only way. It's the only way. Also, to my experience, Qualia, I don't know what that is. Maybe that's why. Qualia is mainly a thing in the case of sensation experience, not exactly thought in the cognitive sense. Okay, so Qualia, some sort of meditation is the real challenge it requires. I have no idea what that is. Stopping by to say hello and heading out to Yak. Love you guys. Love you, Jovan. We hope you have an amazing day. Stay safe. Send us some photos again, please. Man, Jovan, like I hope you're rolling yourself some joints as well. She sent us this photo where she's just like floating on the water and she just has this like view. Jeez, it just looks like a vibe. I hope you have an amazing one. You're probably already on your way, my friend. Sending you good vibes. I feel like that going with the saying, motivation is pointless without environment. You can probably hear that sound. You know what's the ironic part? That's my speaker making that noise. My sister like comes to me and asks me, "Can I use your speaker?" And I'm like, "No, I'm gonna go and stream now." She's like, "I won't put it very loud." I'm like, "Why do you need the speaker?" Or like, where do you want to use it? She's like, "Oh, I want to use it to watch movies." I'm like, "But the movie room has a speaker system, but the speaker system in the movie room has like a low." Like ground, like a low sound because of a ground somewhere, so it has like a low hum, like a bzzz. And me know, like, knowing how something like that can irk me, I understood that my sister probably gets irked by it as well, so I instantly said okay. So sorry if you can't hear the noise. Like I have no reservations about it either. I'm just going to let her be. It doesn't seem to be loud consistently. I think it was just a song. The only way we know Qualia exists. I still don't know what this Qualia is. I just wish someone would like add me a disclaimer, um, or explainer. Exists because someone else experiences and shares it. Otherwise, we'd have no reference point as an individual. Fascinating point, Mel. There is the sense in which everything and everything thinks. I think. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And like, who are we to say at what point it stops being aware of that thinking? Or at what point we are worthy of determining whether that thinking is valuable or not? Like, we had really cool chats last night on the podcast. Like, these podcasts, at least in my opinion, are just getting better and better and more deep and deeper. Just with the things we're choosing to say and the topics we choose to explore and the places we go. It makes me happy that we have access to being able to do these things in the time that we are. Like having met one another and being able to record some of the conversations. You know, like you'll have some conversation with a friend on the couch, and it will be one of the most profound and deep conversations, and you'll find yourself wishing afterwards, like, damn, I wish I could have recorded that, you know, or I wish there was some more people to could you've heard this conversation as well. And being able to do that, being able to save these conversations that we're having now as you know, youngings, if you will, oldest of us being 25, being able to look back on these moments, building on these moments into our future, and then being able to look back on our slow but sure growth. It's a blessing to be doing this with you, friends. Your mind is powerful, and what you expect out of everything has a huge impact on the outcome. Absolutely. But we've seen that, you know, time and time again, Candace. That's the thing as well. It's one of those things that's so clear. Like when you start to actually practice that way, it becomes even more clear. Interesting, I'd say. We wouldn't conceptualize Qualia because we would have very little beyond it, but not what we would become Qualia-less zombies. I have, like, what is Qualia? Why does it feels like I'm like the only one out of the loop? Like Quailia's been a thing. Everyone knows what Qualia is, Melt. Don't you know? Fucking the spiritual noob. Qualia is like the thing, dude. Damn it. I think it's how we are conscious because we see other objects, people behaving similarly. Just my theory. Okay, that's an interesting one as well. Many wise philosophers would definitely agree. I'm far from being Quailified to comment on that. I have been suspended in the jelly of suspended belief with all the regards to analyzing the semantic content of these terms. Qualia, yes, here it comes. Qualia is like the experimental content of a sense experience, something apart, above, or beyond the data. Oh, yeah, we call that the observer, vegan. Because that's what that is, you know, something apart, above, beyond the data. It's the awareness of it. It's what you actually are. I guess that is what it would mean to be Quailified, to understand and know and live in a way that that is your truth. Where does this word come from, though? Like, I'm wondering where the Qualia terminology originated. All good. I appreciate the conversation. Most people would run when I talk like this. Like, there's no running for us, my friend. We welcome all of it. We're just like, yep, give me idea. Idea. And then we move on. And then we take what we wanted to take, what our truth was in that whole experience. We take that to heart, and then we move on. Like, there's no need for us to be fighting about anything. Is there CBD in your coffee or tea? No, my friend. This is just water, and there is definitely THC in this marijuana joint pathways. Quaila, the je ne sais quoi. The je ne sais quoi, okay, that's the word, way you say it. The je ne sais quoi of experience that can't be quantified. Thank you, Gala. The je ne sais quoi. That's that. Now that is something that's nice to say. It's funny that I have a hard time saying some English words. I'm probably saying that incorrectly as well. Je ne sais quoi. But it is fun to say. Okay, Quaila. Thank you, my friends, for enlightening me, educating me on this term as well. I know the feeling. I'm always up for stirring the tea of the mind, but I usually don't feel like I have something interesting to articulate. Vegan, you don't have to articulate something interesting. That's the thing as well. You know, what you consider something interesting, you can mention a point, something that you've experienced regarding something that's being, you know, said. You don't have to articulate something that you would consider interesting, because just you co-creating in that moment it could be something that is worthy, could inspire someone, could give someone a little bit more information to deal with when processing something that they're going through, right? Like, oh, I've went to this thing before, I made this decision, it turned out this way. Now, instead of me just having to make a decision based on what I know, which might be nothing, I get to make a decision on what one other person knows. And then if four other people do that, then I can make a decision on what five other people knew. And then it continues to go on like that. The more we educate ourselves, the better our decision making capacity becomes as well. And you can be a part of that. Oh my God! Oh, hi! Thank you for joining us again, friend. How have you been? Hello again, my friend. Long time no see. Oh, the cooler Daniel. That's been like 2 days, right? It's nice to have you here again. It's nice to have you. I'm the Chad Daniel, of course. Sorry. I think like 16 pack, the super chiseled jaw, the slick back hair. Yeah, you know the one, the cooler Chad, the chaddest of Chad Daniels. I don't know what Qualia is either. Now we know together, Matthias. Now we know together. I love your hair. I have long hair too. In my 50s. That's amazing, Salty Charge. How? Okay, so have you had long hair since you were in your 20s and you've kept your hair long up to your 50s? Or is it something you decided to do recently? I'm very happy that you have long hair in your 50s. I believe Darcy, one of our friends, is also in his 50s, also has just beautiful long hair. It makes me happy to see. It's so interesting to see how these cultural norms have shaped how our fathers choose to cut their hair. There's some practical reason for cutting your hair as a man. It is something extra you have to take care of. And one of the masculine traits is the want to be as efficient as possible in getting stuff done, if you will. So having short hair can be an easier way to get stuff done when it comes to washing and taking care of your hair, and it's staying out of the way, so not having to tie it up leaves you with that amount of seconds to get stuff done, if you will, right? There is something feminine about it as well. There's an acceptance of the feminine in a way. It's interesting to me. I've had an experience with someone where she absolutely hated the fact that I would recognize divine masculine and divine feminine in things. She wanted it to be completely neutral or unimportant or unmentioned, if you will, as well. What do you friends think? Is that something that's valuable? I don't think so, obviously. I kind of think there is a certain romantic trait in looking at things from a masculine and a feminine standpoint through certain lenses. In doing so, I believe you allow yourself more fullness and capacity to balance yourself as a full being as well. You don't get too attached just to one understanding of your you-ness, if you will. It's yeah, you know. Qualia is the internal and subjective component of sense perception, arising from stimulation of the senses by phenomena. That's the one. Sorry. Okay. I think we've had it now like a few different ways. Here's another one. Qualia example: a scientist lives in a black and white world, running experiments on the spectrum of colors and gathers math and data. One day, he goes outside and sees for the first time a red rose and is speechless. Okay. Now that gives me more perspective on what Qualia means as well. Qualia. Qualia. I'm probably supposed to say it like that. Huh. So that's an example of Qualia. Okay, so another example of Qualia, I guess, could then be um, a human has a human experience its entire life and then accidentally eats a fungus. And then this fungus shows that human completely like red rose in the world of black and white experience. Would that then be considered Qualia as well, or an example of Qualia? I feel with the amount of very limited information I have, I would be able to say yes, right? Perfect. It is. Mary Jane says, "Hey to Mr. Mary." Dr. Mary. Doing very well. Just got done with a lovely short hike. That sounds amazing, oh my god. We have a friend, oh, I think we have two friends, three friends, being on hikes or going on hikes in the recent while as well. So I hope it was an amazing one, my friend. I have to go. Fun chats. Have a happy Saturday or whatever day it is. It is Sunday. Thank you for being here with us, Mark. I hope you have an amazing one as well, my friend. Hello to you, Finn. Thank you for joining us. And Aqua. And Omar Z's? Is that Jason Momoa? Yeah, it's me, Jason Momoa from the Aquaman movie. Yes. Authentically, yeah, 100%. Mm. The king in the bong, John Smoke. And Hashish is here again. Hey, my friend, thank you for joining us again. How are you doing? How are you doing, Hashish? We're smoking with the intention of art today. I feel you're John Smoke, the king of the bong. It can be seen as artistic. I mean, you're the second time you're doing it, so you're recreating old art pieces, which I respect. You know, I'm not gonna hate on it, but I would like to see what art flows from you next time. Qualia, Qualia, Qualia. Okay, it's the pronunciation I'm familiar with, but I'm not from an English-speaking country. Where are you from? Vegan? Now you have me curious. Like I wasn't gonna prod further after asking if you're from India and you being like, oh yeah, people think that. I was like, okay, man or ma'am doesn't want to say anything, so I'm gonna respect that. But now I'm curious, since you're not from an English-speaking country, why do I feel now maybe you're from? I'm gonna be wrong, but I want to guess just for the fun of it. Brazil? Oh, that's a farmers. I feel. Oh, come on, Mel. Nah, dude. I'm okay being Mel. If anything, a character that I would want to play just to see how far I can stretch myself would be the Joker, dude. Like Aquaman, nah, that's way too much. The Joker, also way too much, but in a different way. The spiritual component of the experience would be Kuela of the trip. Kua Kualia of the trip, or a Qualia that arises from processing the trip. Smoking J's, infamous aspect I am, friend. And we're also talking about a term that I've never heard of before called Qualia. Who, the way that I have now verbalized it in one way for myself from what someone said is that Qualia can be seen as the observer or the experiencer or the underlying awareness of the experience. And it can also be something that arises out of almost unlikelihood in this universe. And in all, like I'm saying unlikelihood in the way that it is something that's almost a rarity. And then in this rare experience, you can have something that is so exquisitely other, like seeing a red rose after you've lived in a white and black world your entire existence. And in doing so, there is a divine experience being had right there. and we can induce that for ourselves in ways as well. I think meditation would definitely be a way to do that. Fasting can be, exercise can be, art definitely can be, breath work and psychedelic experiences can be. Qualia. It's fun to say as well. Man, I feel extremely calm right now. Oh no. How much power does the word itself carry sometimes? Just saying something. Qualia. I want to show you what I'm looking at. Like there is a shadow being cast on that wall, and in the middle of it, I don't know if you can see it, there's like an eye in the block, and then there's another little eye, and then it looks like it has like a nose holes, and then like the little skull teeths. It looks like a little bit of a skull to me, and it's beautiful. And that I'm seeing that as a result of the exact angle of the sun, and the trees. It's it's Qualia, right? Isn't it? At least from the limited understanding that I'm trying to gain now. Again, it is the experience underlying what is happening. The significance that arises from the external within your internal. Man, oh, my camera is skewed. What a trip. Okay, thank you. Like, I really appreciate you bringing this to my field of awareness. Okay. You're wrong, but that makes you meta correct. Thank you so much, vegan. I mean, I'm not speaking from a place of authority. I'm literally speaking from a place of absolute ignorance. And I'm trying to make that as clear as possible. Maybe try saying quality said T with R. What? Qualita. Ah. Qualita. Qualita. Whoa, that's even weirder. Wait, okay, but there's no T. Quala. Qualaha. Quala. 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 I'm guessing, is that the way you're supposed to say it? That's even weirder. Oh, you're tripping me out, vegan. But uh, where do we go when we die? Or is it all over? Like, I can't really speak for everyone. If anything, I can speak from the experiences I've had. And from the experiences I've had, which could be completely subjective, I don't believe that it's all over when we die. I think there is an ever-permeating nature of our underlying awareness, consciousness, beingness, if you will, and that continues even if your current body doesn't, in my opinion. So no, I don't think it's all over if we die. To infinity and beyond. There we go. Mariah knows. I meant that you were saying... Oh, you were wrong about Brazil. Oh, the rest was stunningly true. Okay, thank you, my friend. You're wrong, but that makes you meta-correct. I mean, because I predicted I was going to be wrong. Yes. Yes. Pat myself on the back. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, I was about to say, but about the Qualia, like, that is still... quality. Oh. Qualia. I can't think that you're living in Qualia though. I'm getting bamboozled. Thank you very much, vegan. You're just like throwing me right off of any stability that I thought I had. I'm just floating in space. Qualia. I don't know why I'm considering this as much as I am. Like I don't usually let myself get stuck on things. Not too much, if you will. You know, as stuck as I want to be. But with this, I feel the stickiness comes from a place of not knowing. And my curiosity is biting at me. It's like, hey, what's this? Because, okay, like this is the way I'm interpreting the information I'm being presented with. Instead of just thinking about my life and the experiences I have as, more aligned or less aligned, I can also now witness experiences on a almost other layer, if you will. Is it a layer? It's a way to look at the lens that is in front of the thing you're experiencing. Does that make sense? It's like trying to consolidate in somewhere in my mind, but it's just like a multi little ball. Like doesn't have a place in just yet. Mm. Okay. uh, it's a rich, dense concept. What are you smoking? I'm smoking weed, my friend. Yeah, Qualia. Yeah, I got it. I think I have it now. Hey, hipster whispers. Thank you for joining me, friend. Mel, it's been a while since I caught your stream, dude. You're catching me while my brain is just absolutely melting. We've been introduced with this idea of qualia. This underlying energy arriving from a divine experience, or the unique energy underlying a divine experience, and how that experience or the energy in that experience can be seen as this qualia. And it's very interesting. I'm like, the curious thing about it for me is the fact that I haven't heard about it before. Maybe that's why it's fascinating me more than anything, because very rarely am I confronted with information, especially something like this, that I haven't, found yet, because I've been looking into shit like this for an obscene amount of hours. Oh goodness, I don't even know if I want to say this, but yeah, I've spent in excess of 10,000 hours researching spirituality and the underlying stuff that goes along with it. And we're just getting started. We're like literally just at the start. Oh goodness. Spend in excess a lot of time learning, constantly growing. Oh, it's the feeling of being so old, super duper old. Cheers, Bingo. Hello, Big. You can't see him. He's walking too close to the camera. He's walked back and forth twice now. Let's see. He's probably gonna come back again. Okay, now. Oh goodness. mutual growth. Like each and every single one of us and each and every single one of our lives can be seen as this node in consciousness. And if you want to think about it in a two-dimensional way, and you have like a graph where like there's maybe a quality of life and a divinity, if you will, scales, and you being one of the 8 billion people on this planet, and even the animals as well can be part of this scale, living closer to divinity and improving quality of life, in your individual experience, is going to ultimately click up, have an impact on the total graph of all of consciousness, of all of human experience. And in that way, you play an essential role in creating the reality that you want in your future, actively now. And the decisions you're making, and the conversations you're having, and the places you find yourself, the people you find yourself with, how you find yourself with them. In so doing, we actively recreate more and more of what we want. For the longest time, we've just wanted comfort. Comfort, feeling, and sex, and power. Those were the basic human drives. Genuine, compassionate love for one another, for a friend, for a person on the street that you don't know. Genuine communication and wanting to listen to one another from a place of wanting to genuinely express yourself and wanting to genuinely understand someone else's expression. Trying to find genuine intuition within yourself, genuine insight within yourself, instead of seeking it outside of yourself. And then your genuine recognition that you are a part of something so much larger than yourself. And in accepting that largeness, you empower yourself with it. Because as you are a part of it, you are it. These are the decisions we need to make on a global scale now. Not only decisions that we need to make, but it's an understanding that we need to accept in all of our interactions. People think they have to trade, and maybe some of it they will, and like sometimes your comfort, your sexual needs, and your emotions, your will to control or have power over things is going to have to be traded in order to experience the other side of the spectrum. Is it worth it? I think we all know that answer. Is it difficult sometimes? Very much so. Might be the most difficult thing. A hipster. It's nice to have you here again, really, my friend. What are you smoking? Just weed, my friend. Actually, if you want to know the strain name, Orange Sherbet. Philosophical fudgy. It's sticky. It very much is. You can see the invisible fissure between the layers, I believe, Mel. That's how I experience it, and I feel like I'm sympathizing with you. That's Mayan, isn't it? Or a Maina, isn't it? Maina, the bird? It might be. I'm not sure. Thank Mark for bringing it in. Yeah, Mark, I appreciate you sharing this experience with us, my friend. Compassion for strangers is the purest form, simply. It really is. And it's the first step that needs to be taken, interestingly enough, Toasty. Like, you can think of it again in a chakric way or on a spectrum of like where is pure animal on the one side and then pure divine light on the other side. And the animalistic nature starts with basic security, procreation and satisfaction, control and power. And then there is this like invisible mirror that kind of just shows this reality to this being. And it believes that this is the only reality. And then as soon as you can permeate this invisible mirror, as soon as you can move over to the compassion for a stranger, being able to see the divine nature within them, being able to see yourself in them, it opens you up to a whole new experience. And again, it's hard to completely do that. And like I'm thinking about something Alan Watts would like go into saying, where he would start talking about how if you completely give into that feeling, you would just give away everything. You find yourself driving down the highway or down your local street, and you stop at the stop sign, and there's a person begging and saying like he doesn't have anything, and you're like, you stop your car, you give him the keys to your car, your like credit card information. You're like, dude, here, a car and a credit card is going to serve you well in trying to start your life back up. But again, that is going to be the complete surrender of your security, your quality of life, your power. And in finding that balance is a very difficult thing. It is the challenge that we're absolutely constantly, fighting. Not even fighting, but sometimes in turmoil with. And it's very important for us to try and find not only balance in it, but security in it. Like balance is one thing, but you're still feeling like you can tip over at any point. Having security in it is what's even more important. Thank you, Thirsty, my friend, for the hugs. Sharing compassion is so important to other humans. To all humans, I should say, even they. And thank you for joining us, my friend. It's nice to have you here again. It is. You're so right. The other side of it is the understanding that instead of you giving your car and your credit card information to this person in need, there should be social safety nets. We have enough resources to take care of our people. And some people are going to take, advantage of that resource. That's going to be an inevitability as well. But isn't knowing that inevitability, in knowing that there's going to be a potential, is it okay to then deny other people the potential to potentially escape that? The people that don't want to live in a way that is going to be only indicative of need. If you can live in a place from basic needs being met, you don't have to constantly cower in fear that you don't have a place to live, you don't have a meal to eat the next day. Isn't that going to, on a global level, again with that divinity scale / quality of life scale, isn't that going to empower humanity, consciousness as a whole, to click up in consciousness, to raise our consciousness with what we consider human interaction, what we consider compassion, what we consider helping one another? The overconsumption and the absolute ridiculous or imbalance, rather, concentration of wealth, it's absurd. It really is absurd. And patience, we need to bring that back. You're very right, Daddy. You're very, very right. I feel like I'm in an extreme state of patience right now. Almost too much. You know what? Something that was really interesting to me. This feeling that things aren't getting done fast enough. And me, Johan, and Christian had a conversation on the podcast last night about how, from a crystal's perspective, the human life, like if a crystal, if you could consider a crystal having an experience or a consciousness of growing from a small little crystal into a big crystal, it has a whole lifetime, an infancy and then an adult state, if you will. And then it eventually deteriorates, and that is its aging process, if you will. So imagine how long that thing lives in comparison to what a human life would be. So in its field of consciousness, this human life springs up, exists for a bit, and then instantly dies. That's like how it experiences a human life. And then being able to be taken throughout the world, if you take a crystal with you, be it if you wear it around your neck, you're like showing this little crystal all of these different perspectives. It still experiences your entire life and its entire experience with you as like a blink of a second in its experience, its consciousness, its understanding of reality. Right? It is it is so crazy that we can get so caught up in being impatient, rushing, when on a something as very impermanent as a crystal, right? If you compare it to a star, it's even more absurd. If you compare it to the age of our universe, and what the age of our universe is going to become, the age of what black holes are going to become, it becomes even more absurd. So, what are we being impatient about? What are we rushing towards? Why do we feel this urgency? Is this urgency serving us? In some ways, I guess it is. We have to be urgent about some things. Again, that finding that balance. People already try and exploit the system. Might as well make a good one. Empathy, many people. Oh yeah, actually, that's a perfect point, Fat Daddy. Like I was talking about, there are going to be some people that take advantage of it, and what Fat Daddy is saying, people are already right now taking advantage of the system, so we might as well make it a good one for everyone, so that those that don't want to take advantage, want to contribute something, can benefit even more, and those that are going to take advantage anyway, at least they will have a proper quality of life as well. So maybe that will contribute to them not wanting to take advantage, or maybe wanting to take more control over their own lives. So extremely patient. I'm not patient anymore. uh, so, were you patient for a very long time, Mariah? And did you find, like, what is patience to you? I mean, I think maybe that's the more important question. And what are the things that you find yourself being more patient about than others? Like, there are certain things, as I said, that need some urgency. And I think it is more about finding patience in the things that we can't change, and having more urgency orientated towards the things that we can. So in that way, we can be both extremely patient and very enthusiastic, or even aggressive about our way of doing things sometimes. Just about finding that balance. Hey, Meltmore. Oh, darkly. Happy Sunday. Thank you so much, my friend. And I did see your message on the Discord. I haven't replied yet. You saying they looked like strawberry Rice Krispie cakes. Basically, I don't think they're strawberry flavored. It's just pink marshmallows. But they are extremely powerful. And I think I gave away 8 of them. 8 of them is about 16 doses during that weekend. I even gave away one of them to one of my mom's friends. Well, two of my mom's friends technically. The lady is her friend, and she brought her husband along as well. Me and her husband had a like real good chat. We talked about the medicinal benefits of marijuana. He told me a story about a woman that had stage 4 breast cancer, started taking cannabis oil, and her tumors completely shrank away to the point where they could cut out only one single piece of like cancerous material, and then she was completely cancer free. And this is like in our town. So it's amazing to have conversations with people, and he's like in his like 40s as well, so he grew up with the stigmas around it and now has this open-mindedness towards it. Tells me that he's been smoking a little bit of it. He has his wife roll him the joints because he's not too good at it, but she doesn't, really like smoking it. And then he told me that he's never had any edibles, but I kind of felt like he said it from a perspective of like he's not sure if edibles is for him. And then the night kind of continues, and I come to him and I'm like, from a place of complete respect and love, I have to offer, do you want an edible? And he's like, yes, please. And I'm like, I've just started to open up, just start smiling. I'm like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. I'm gonna go get you an edible right now. I gave it to him. He instantly broke it in half and shared it with his wife. And then they had to go home, and I'm so happy that he did as well. I told him like, yeah, that's a fantastic idea. Just go home, get a nice movie on, get some snacks out, and just enjoy this experience. And it's like, that's exactly what we're gonna do. I really look forward to it. It was just so nice to be able to give that to someone. I want to die in a black hole. I've said the same thing before. Pop. It's an interesting theory, huh, Daz? I think Daz is maybe better than Pop. Dying in a black hole means you get spaghettified. So, as you fall into the black hole, your individual atoms, at like the bottom of your feet, get ripped off one layer at a time. As they cross the event horizon. So as you cross the event horizon, you get like spaghettified into the core of the black hole. And as you hit the black hole surface, you get spread one atom layer thick, over the surface of this black hole. It's so weird. I don't think it would be fun, but it would be an experience. It would be quite an experience. The only system that ever has a chance of truly reaching utopia are those who have out a gun behind their words. A gunner? A gun? A gunner behind their words? I'm not exactly sure what a gunner means. Maybe like an agenda behind the words. Governments are always guns behind the commands, bolted down. Social change is the true change. Absolutely. We need to move past power. Again, like Toad's it comes back literally every single day. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, we will have peace. Jimi Hendrix's it's a lyric. That is the way. That is literally the way, and it's switching that mirror, dude. That perspective. Same. That sounds so sick. Yeah. It sounds sick, but it's kind of hectic. True for sure. I made canna butter yesterday. It's hella potent this time. I used 1/2 cup of a finely ground, already. Already vaped. That's basically what it means, right? Already vaped bud, and a 1/4 tablespoon of butter. It's like dark brown. Oh goodness, dude. That sounds dangerous. What you could do with that, if you want to make those Rice Krispie treats, it's very simple. You literally just melt marshmallows. You add that butter onto the marshmallows. You add some Rice Krispies onto it, and you mix those together, and then you're done. You put it in a pan. You basically cut it into pieces. Sounds like you open his eyes to a new world. No, I don't think I was the one that opened his eyes. He was already smoking it. I wouldn't exactly say that, but I was happy to give him his first edible, definitely, because an edible, when it goes into your body, your liver basically turns into beta hydroxy 11, delta hydroxy, beta hydroxy, one of the two, hydroxy 11 THC, which is basically a psychedelic compound. So instead of it just being, I think maybe like a little bit of a vasodilator and a dopamine responding chemical through smoking it, it can also be a psychedelic through eating it. Bro, you have such a way of convincing people to have a good time. You freaking better, Toasty. Just because you said that, I'm gonna smoke a puff of marijuana for you, dude. Mm. You're a saint of joy. I love you, dude. I love you so much, dude. We're doing this together. I'm not always a saint of joy, if you will. You friends help tremendously. We bring the joy together. Meltmore, how did you become so joyful? I had to go through extreme bouts of being not joyful, I guess. And I still do. Again, we are joyful because we are sharing an interaction with one another. Your interactions is the thing that brings me joy. So I think I can give you all the honor. We have Vincent here again. It's been a while. Yes, it has. I'm just going to imagine that you've been sleeping this whole time, Vincent. And it brings me so much joy. I'm so happy. You must be so well rested. Thursday, I'm just happy you're here, Vincent. I'm doing well, man. How are you? Oh, first edible. I can remember the brain tingles and the body buzz. Ooh, I remember the body buzz as well. Interestingly enough, the body buzz was something very present with me the first few times I smoked weed. It's not so present, like it hasn't been present, I think since the like third time I smoked weed or something. But I remember smoking and then laying on my bed and listening to music, and the music would be able to like literally send these vibrations almost throughout my entire body, even just having earphones in, and it was very like nice, I would say. I'm not, you know, that butthurt that is no longer something I experience. Why is that? Is my body just a little bit more attuned to it? Maybe from a certain perspective, it can be seen as an overwhelming stimulus. So maybe in the favor of social interaction, my mind and body decided that it's not necessarily something that could be always of benefit. Because if I'm just like vibing so hard, even on a physical level, when I'm smoking weed and I don't actually have the capacity to concentrate on anything else, then it wouldn't be exactly of that much benefit. So maybe we take trade-offs. Yo, what the fuck are we smoking? I'm smoking art, dude. I'm smoking straight art. It's actually kicking my ass, dude. This might be one of the strongest joints we've smoked this year. Woo! Art. Just art. So simple of a word, and yet there's literally just like so much behind it, right? Just think. Say the word art, and then all of the references behind your word art. All of these things that you've seen, all of these things you've experienced, all of the shows you've watched, all of the artistic photos you've seen, anything, even a selfie can be seen as art. Take it with a pinch of salt, but it can be seen as art. All of this art you've seen just behind this three-letter word, and it's smoking some art, dude. You're smoking art, yeah, dude. Technically orange sherbet, but we've dubbed it art, dude. I already woke and booked. I'm hoping you're very toasty there with me, man. I'm definitely feeling good. My first edible was a bad experience. That's a good story now. Do you want to tell it, Darkly? We're here, my friend. I would love to hear it. I haven't heard how the rest of his experience went, though, and I am curious. I asked my mom to ask, but I don't know if she feels comfortable to. But I'm really curious how their experience went. Your username is an absolute trip. Vegan 420 anglerfish. It is. It really is, actually, because the anglerfish thing kind of, in a way, I don't know if it really does, and I'm not saying it does, but in a way, contradicts the vegan thing. And then the 420, like the vegan thing can be associated with this extreme health orientated like perfection, and then the 420 can be seen as something that might be a little bit detrimental to your health, even though it can still kind of be orientated or correlated to the 420, and then the anglerfish is just like a, a throw out of the left field. You don't know where it's coming from. Mm-mm. Yeah, it's fucking hard. Thank you for sharing. I'm sure what you mean. Yours is a treat. It really is, bro. Today is literally in my calendar as art day, and has been for like 4 days. Maybe that's why I'm like just more. I'm like I was in sync accidentally. Let's say accidentally in sync. Toasty. I mean, you gotta get that portrait. Gotta get it done, dude. I mean, dude. Yes, it's too much. I'm tripping out. Okay, I'm gonna calm down. Smoke more art. It's art day, Toasty. The universe knew. Oh, that's that's a trip, man. Oh goodness. Because you weren't here just yet when we were setting the intention. Qualia. Hmm. I've been sick for a few days and this week, and I had to deal with a lot of things the whole time. I disappeared, but yeah, I get sleep here and there. It's not perfect, but to hell with it. Vincent, I'm happy that you're here, my friend. I'm sorry that you're sick. I hope you get better soon. I hope you get better soon. Has the being sick kept you home? Do you have COVID? I hope not. I hope it's something less hectic than COVID. I hope you're dealing with it, my friend. I hope you're feeling better soon. I'm imagining like a hipster stoner anglerfish who rides a fixed gear bicycle in Bikini Bottom, eating gluten-free avocado toast and drinking craft beer. Like you, I agree completely, but for some reason I'm just imagining, seaweed as like a staple as well. So like I'm imagining avocado on like sheets of seaweed. But that's green on green. But there's also the weed, so there's green on green on green. Maybe it's supposed to be that way. A green anglerfish that eats green seaweed with green avocado on it, smoking the green before they. Okay, I'm gonna stop. The craft beer. Oh yes, the whole drink like a fish analogy has to fit in somewhere, right? Do you drink? I feel like you don't drink actually. Interestingly enough, studies have also found that vegans are also a lot less likely to actually consume alcohol. Hey man, how you doing? I'm doing well, Tiger. I'm doing very well. I'm experiencing a lot. I am I'm being confronted with things that create potential questions within inside of myself. Some of them more gentle than others. All of them worthy and have a place. How about you, Tiger? Sending healing vibes, absolutely. Thank you for observing, Melt. I put it on my username because there are three things that are important to me about who I am, are easy to miss over the interwebs, and may appear contradictory, but are not. Well, how do you feel about our little imagination creation of your username? Do you approve? I don't know what anglerfishes look like though. Hmm, Benson. But that's someone else. Okay. Okay. Hey, bingo. Like, he did something so weird yesterday. I was cooking, and he's not an inside dog. Kiki is an inside dog, Eva is an inside dog. And then we have Yudi and Bingo. They're outside dogs. They, we got them when we still didn't allow dogs inside. And then, in the meanwhile, we've started allowing dogs inside. But they're still not allowed inside. But not aggressively not allowed inside, just not allowed inside. And Bingo, like I'm cooking, Bingo, as if it's literally ingrained in his nature, like he's been doing it his entire life. casually walks into the kitchen and goes and sits against the cupboard and just like chills. And I look at him and I go through this like process of like, yeah, you're not supposed to be in here. But I'm just like, oh wait. You came in with such a strut. You sat down with such confidence. I'm not going to move you. You sit down, dude. You vibe. No, and no, like no problem whatsoever. And eventually he was like away, had my sit, had my chill, excused himself again, and I was like, away, dude. See you again. mm. Vincent, and today was the worst of all days. Oh man, I thought I was gonna die. I just got my second shot, but symptoms were so much alike. I get something so fucking scared. I can't remember how the whole day went today. Vincent, don't allow yourself to be scared, my friend. I know it's easier said than done, but think about it this way, right? Fear is faith in evil. If you're allowing yourself to be consumed by fear of, oh, what's gonna happen? Am I gonna survive, this flu shot? Then you're so in a place of faith that maybe something is gonna go wrong, that you're creating that reality for yourself. And if you create that reality for yourself and it isn't that way, then you've chosen to suffer once. If it is the reality, if you do turn out bad, then you're going to suffer twice. If you choose to now in this moment, deny that fear and live in a place of abundance and knowing that this is a potential side effect, something that's not going to last forever, your body is having an immunological defense reaction because it is building antibodies. Building antibodies to something is something your body does when it's being attacked. So having an immunological reaction is natural. I believe you'll be fine, my friend. Don't invest your fear. Don't have faith in evil. I believe in you. You got this. You're gonna get better soon. Get well soon. Well, I'm feeling good enough to move my fingers now and eyeballs, and I think the functions can get me by. Thank you, my friend, Toasty and Vegan. Vincent, you're loved, my friend. You're so loved. Ooh. You want to see the cat with a mouse in his mouth? He's gonna pass. We have a little hunter. Hunter cat. Oh man, the farm stories. Like, I am very proud of him. I hope maybe it was the cat that was in my room. Oh, he's eating it very close to me. I can hear the crunching bones. Still proud. Oh, good kitty. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Mose. So, okay. So, yesterday we talked about, I don't know if it's that mouse. Hello, Eva. Hello, my leafy duck. Mosh. Hello, my Eva. She's out of shot, but I'm not going to force her on my lap. She's actually pretty camera shy. Something that's interesting to me. She knows that there is something going on, but she is definitely our most intelligent dog as well, so I'm not very surprised about that at all. There she goes again. Bye bye, Eva. Oh, friggin' chonker. I mean, Eva. Those gingers on my side. Eva, baby. I should have maybe showed her for a second. The real life Ras Trent. I don't know who that is. Ryans. Nyans. Ras Trent. Man, I wonder how many things I could have searched and people have said that I haven't. How much of it would I have still retained up to this point? Would I have wanted to make space for them? Do I need to know who Ras Trent is? Yeah, Melt. But being sick weakens your spirit way too much. So even though I usually longed to be alone, I get so lonely today. Even I'm surprised by my behavior. You're not alone, Vincent. Here you are, my friend. And we were here for you even when you weren't here. And in that way, we are always there for you, even when you're not here. And in your feeling of loneliness, you found us here again, you know. And that's the beautiful part about being able to do this every day. You are loved, my friend. You're not alone. And if you have a hard time believing it within yourself, if you feel your spirit too weak to muster that belief, we're always here to remind you. And you remind me as well, my friend. Thank you for sharing the space with us. You sound very self aware. Yeah, he is. He is. Vincent is very self aware. But that self awareness can also lead to a lot of pain sometimes. Potential suffering and everything. Any advice on how to love yourself? Start doing things that you would consider love for yourself. Maybe that's step one, right? Eating well, trying to not just, like when I say exercise, people just imagine like this plethora of stuff to do. Just do something. Just do one thing, you know? Do one push up a day. Try and start there. Do some things that you would consider love for yourself and then build on that. Continue in that direction. Continue seeking out the things that you would find, oh yeah, this is something I can do to love myself. Be it a bath that you take, add some oil, add some salt, add some lavender leaves, have a really good bath, treat yourself in that way. It's something that is going to treat you not only to that experience, but also to an understanding and a knowing that you are worthy of those experiences and that you can seek them out. Self love is something that can be, I want to say, almost difficult. Not only, I think maybe it's difficult because it takes that initial intention, almost momentum to do it as well. But fortunately, we keep getting inspirations that bring us some of that momentum. My friends, I appreciate you sharing space with me. I do look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, everyone. Goodbye.